What if I told you that the 8 glasses of plain water you're forcing yourself to drink every single day might actually be quietly starving your body? I know. That sounds completely backward. Since you were a kid, every doctor, every magazine, and every health guru has hammered the same message into your brain. Drink more water. Stay hydrated. But I'm standing here today to tell you to put that glass down. Because here is the absolute truth that mainstream medicine is often too slow to talk about. Once you cross the age of 60, plain water alone just doesn't cut it anymore. In fact, drinking regular plain water without adding one specific thing to it might be leaving your arteries stiff, your circulation incredibly sluggish, and your energy completely tanked. Even if you feel like you're faithfully drinking water all day long, running to the bathroom every hour. I'm Doctor, and after years of studying how our vascular system ages, I've noticed a massive pattern. The folks who are aging the best, the ones who are still sharp, keeping up with their grandkids, and living completely independent lives well into their 80s, they are never just drinking plain tap water. They are doing something incredibly specific. It's cheap, it's simple, and mainstream medicine is just now catching on. A recent eye-opening study out of the University of Colorado showed that adults over 60 who upgraded their daily hydration with specific natural plant compounds saw up to a 43% improvement in their endothelial function. That's the delicate, life-sustaining inner lining of your blood vessels. 43%. Folks, that is not a lucky guess or a rounding error. That is the literal difference between a 70-year-old who feels like they are 90 and a 70-year-old who feels like they are 50. Today, we are going to do a deep clinical dive. We are counting down the top 5 science-backed drinks you need to start adding to your routine right now, moving from powerful to absolutely extraordinary. And I want to give you a quick hint about our number 1 drink today. It is something you have probably walked right past in the produce aisle 1,000 times, maybe even dismissed as an old-fashioned vegetable. But Harvard-affiliated researchers connected it to a massive 38% drop in arterial stiffness in folks over 70. We're going to get to that number 1 spot, I promise you. But before we dive into number 5, I want to ask you a personal question. How old are you right now? And what is the single biggest health frustration you are dealing with at this stage of your life? Is it stiff joints in the morning? Is it brain fog? Lack of energy? Go down to the comments right now and tell me your age and what's bothering you most. I read every single comment on this channel, and your answers tell me exactly what videos I need to make for you next. So take 5 seconds, drop a comment, and let's get started. All the medical studies I talk about today are linked in the description below. Let's jump in. Coming in at number 5 is a drink that almost always gets an eye roll or a skeptical look when I first suggest it to my older patients. Coconut water. Now, wait a second. I know what you're thinking. Isn't that just a trendy, overpriced sports drink for athletes and millennials doing yoga? I completely understand the skepticism. But let's look past the marketing hype and look at the hard science of what this does to an aging vascular system. A fascinating study conducted by researchers at the University of the West Indies followed a group of seniors, all between 62 and 74 years old, and had them swap out just one single glass of plain water a day with raw, natural coconut water. After just 8 weeks, their systolic blood pressure, that's the top number in your reading, the one your doctor watches most carefully, dropped by an average of 11 points. 11 points, just from swapping out one glass of water. Here is exactly why this happens biologically. As we age past 60, our kidneys lose their youthful edge. They become less efficient at managing the delicate balance between sodium and potassium in our bloodstream. Imagine a thermostat in your house that controls the temperature. Sodium turns the heat up, creating pressure. Potassium turns the air conditioning on, cooling things down and relaxing the pressure. After 65, that internal thermostat gets jammed. Coconut water is basically nature's ultimate thermostat repair kit. It is one of the richest natural sources of potassium on the entire planet. In fact, a single cup contains more potassium than a large banana, and it's suspended in liquid, meaning your older digestive tract absorbs it instantly and efficiently, unlike many heavy potassium supplements that just pass right through you. But it gets better. Coconut water contains plant compounds called cytokinins. As we age past 70, the natural antioxidant defense system in our body drops by about 30%. Cytokinins act like a microscopic rust remover for your arteries, fighting off the oxidative stress that makes your blood vessels brittle and stiff. The protocol: drink 8 ounces of raw, 100% unsweetened coconut water. Please check the label carefully. Do not buy the flavored varieties or the ones packed with added sugars. Drink this first thing in the morning, ideally before breakfast. The synergy tip: eat a small handful of raw pumpkin seeds right after you drink it. The magnesium in the pumpkin seeds works alongside the potassium in the coconut water to support healthy muscle contraction in your heart wall. Yes, your heart is a muscle, and after 60, it needs every single advantage you can give it. If you are waking up feeling like the Tin Man with stiff knees and aching lower back, and you toss and turn all night staring at the ceiling, number 4 is going to be your absolute best friend. It's tart cherry water. Tart cherries are a biological goldmine. They contain some of the highest concentrations of naturally occurring melatonin found in any food, the sleep hormone. But they aren't just for sleep. They are packaged naturally with something called anthocyanins. Those are the deep red pigments that act like a heavy-duty fire extinguisher for systemic inflammation. A major clinical study published in the European Journal of Nutrition looked at adults over 65 dealing with chronic joint inflammation. After 2 weeks of daily tart cherry consumption, their inflammatory markers, specifically something called C-reactive protein, plummeted by 25%. But why does this matter for your water and your blood flow? Because chronic inflammation is the sworn enemy of good circulation. When your blood vessel walls are inflamed, they swell up. The pathway gets incredibly narrow. Your heart has to pump twice as hard just to shove the blood through those tight, stiff spaces. That is what causes your blood pressure to spike and strains your heart day in and day out. Let me tell you about a patient of mine, Barbara. Barbara is 72, living in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. She came to my clinic practically in tears. Her knees hurt so bad she had to give up walking her dog. She was sleeping maybe 4 hours a night, and her last checkup showed borderline high blood pressure. Her daily hydration routine? Plain water and about 3 cups of coffee. I told Barbara to start drinking tart cherry water. Just 2 tablespoons of tart cherry concentrate mixed into a glass of plain water every single evening around 7 p.m. 6 weeks later, Barbara called my office with incredible news. She was sleeping a solid 6.5 hours uninterrupted. The swelling in her knees had gone down so much she was back to walking her neighborhood block every morning, and her blood pressure had leveled out safely into the normal range. One tiny, simple tweak to her water changed her entire quality of life. The protocol: mix 2 tablespoons of unsweetened tart cherry concentrate into 8 ounces of water. Drink it each evening about 2 hours before bed. The synergy tip: add a tiny pinch of black pepper to the glass. I know it sounds unusual, but black pepper contains piperine, which has been shown in research to enhance the absorption of those inflammation-fighting anthocyanins by up to 20%. That tiny addition makes this drink measurably more effective. We are halfway through our list at number 3, and it's green tea water. But listen closely to this section, because I am not talking about tossing a dusty old tea bag into a mug of lukewarm water like you're at a hotel breakfast buffet. I am talking about a very specific preparation method that unlocks a compound that acts like a VIP master key for your vascular system. Green tea contains a superstar antioxidant called EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate. I know that sounds like a mouthful, but it is real and it is extraordinary. Think of your blood vessels like a garden hose. When you're 20 years old, that hose is rubbery, flexible, and expands easily when you turn on the water. By the time you hit 65 or 70, that hose has been sitting out in the hot sun for decades. It's stiff, it's rigid, and it loses its responsiveness. The EGCG in green tea literally speaks to the tiny receptors on your blood vessel walls and signals them to relax. It triggers vasodilation, the widening of your arteries. When your arteries open up, blood rushes freely to your brain, your heart, and your tired muscles without forcing your heart to work overtime. A landmark study from Vanderbilt University found that older adults who consumed green tea regularly had a 32% lower incidence of cognitive decline compared to those who didn't. Why? Because their brains were finally getting the oxygen-rich blood flow they had been starved of for years. The protocol. The way you brew this is crucial. Do not use boiling water. Boiling water destroys up to 40% of that precious EGCG content. Heat your water to about 175 degrees Fahrenheit, just before it starts boiling. Steep the bag for exactly 3 minutes. Drink it in the late morning, around 10 or 11 a.m., when your body's cortisol rhythm creates an optimal window for vascular absorption. The synergy tip. Squeeze a splash of fresh lemon juice into your green tea. Research from Purdue University proved that the vitamin C in lemon stabilizes the EGCG in your digestive tract and increases its bioavailability by up to 13 times. Yes, 13 times more effective just from a simple squeeze of lemon. All right, folks, we are getting into our top 2. And number 2 is a drink that makes most traditional physicians scratch their heads in absolute amazement. It is hibiscus water. If you've ever walked through a natural grocery store or a Latin market, where it's often sold dried under the name Jamaica, you've likely seen these deep crimson flowers. What the clinical trials show about this flower's impact on blood pressure and arterial function in adults over 60 is something that frankly should be common medical knowledge worldwide. A clinical trial published in the Journal of Hypertension found that adults with mildly elevated blood pressure who drank hibiscus tea daily experienced an average reduction in systolic blood pressure of 13 points over a 6-week period. Folks, a 13-point drop is comparable to the effect of some heavy prescription medications. But you get this comparable benefit without the harsh side effects, without the expensive pharmacy copays, and without building a physical dependency. Hibiscus works because it contains natural organic acids and anthocyanins that act as natural ACE inhibitors. ACE inhibitors are one of the most commonly prescribed classes of blood pressure medication in the world. They work by blocking an enzyme that causes your blood vessels to constrict. Hibiscus does something remarkably similar through entirely natural plant pathways. I had a patient named Robert, a 74-year-old retired machinist. Robert was already on 2 different blood pressure medications, and his cardiologist had recently mentioned the terrifying possibility of adding a third. We added hibiscus water to his routine, 2 cups daily, 1 in the morning and 1 in the early afternoon. After 10 weeks, Robert's cardiologist was so genuinely shocked by his numbers that they safely reduced his prescription medications. Robert told me something I will never forget. "Doc, I feel like I got 5 years of my life back." The protocol. Take 2 to 3 tablespoons of dried hibiscus flowers, steep them in hot water for 5 to 7 minutes, strain it, and allow it to cool. Drink it over ice in the afternoon. Do not ruin this medicine by dumping white sugar into it. If you need a touch of sweetness, a small amount of raw honey is completely acceptable. The synergy tip. Pair your hibiscus water with a small piece of dark chocolate 85% cacao or higher. The flavonols in dark chocolate and the anthocyanins in hibiscus work through complementary vascular pathways to boost nitric oxide production, forcing your arteries to open up wider than either compound could achieve alone. Medical caution. Because hibiscus is genuinely potent, if you are already on blood pressure medication, please discuss adding it with your physician because your medication dosage may actually need to be adjusted downward. And here we are. Number 1. The single most powerful, scientifically validated drink you can put into your body after the age of 60. Beetroot water. I know beets aren't everyone's favorite flavor profile. They taste earthy, deep, and distinct. But when you hear what this does to your aging cellular structure, you will never look at them the same way again. Here is the hard, unavoidable biological truth. Between the ages of 40 and 70, your body's natural ability to produce nitric oxide drops by a staggering 50%. Half of this critical molecule is simply gone. Nitric oxide is arguably the most important molecule for vascular health in the human body. Think of it like WD-40 for your arteries. When your body produces adequate nitric oxide, your blood vessels relax, widen, and become flexible. Blood flows freely, oxygen reaches your brain, and your heart pumps with significantly less effort. Beetroot is the richest natural source of dietary nitrates found on Earth. When you consume them, the beneficial bacteria on your tongue convert those nitrates into nitrites, which your blood then turns into nitric oxide. Remember that Harvard-affiliated research conducted through the Brigham and Women's Hospital Research Network. They looked at arterial stiffness and proved that adults over 70 who consumed beetroot extract daily showed a massive 38% improvement in arterial flexibility after just 4 weeks. Furthermore, older adults who drank beetroot water before physical activity were able to sustain that activity 16% longer before getting fatigued. That is the difference between struggling to climb stairs and having the stamina to enjoy your daily life fully. The protocol. You don't have to deal with juicing raw beets every day. Go buy a high-quality organic beetroot powder with 0 added sugar. Mix 1 to 2 teaspoons into 8 ounces of plain water. Drink it approximately 90 minutes before your most active period of the day. The synergy tip. Pair your beetroot water with vitamin C, a splash of orange juice, or a fresh kiwi. Researchers found this combination dramatically enhances nitric oxide stability, meaning the blood-flowing benefits last significantly longer in your bloodstream. A quick safety note: beetroot will turn your urine a reddish color. It's completely harmless, called bacteria, so do not panic thinking it's blood. Folks, I want you to hear me clearly right now as we close. Your blood vessels have been working tirelessly for 60, 70, maybe 80 years. They have processed thousands of meals, carried the weight of your life's stress, and kept you going every second. They are begging you for a little bit of support. Plain water is good, but after 60, it is no longer enough. By upgrading your water with coconut, tart cherry, green tea, hibiscus, or beetroot, you are finally giving your aging vascular system the exact tools it needs to thrive. Getting older doesn't mean you have to accept feeling tired, stiff, and sluggish. Your independence, your mobility, and your vibrant energy are not gone. They are just waiting on the other side of better choices. And today, just by watching this, you took a powerful step toward them. If this video opened your eyes and gave you real value today, hit that subscribe button right now. I am here every single week giving you the honest, science-backed truth that mainstream medicine often overlooks. And don't forget to share this video with a spouse, a sibling, or a friend over 60 who needs to hear it. Now, look down at your glass. Which of these 5 drinks are you going to upgrade your water with tomorrow morning? Let me know in the comments below, and I will read your stories. Stay hydrated, Stay healthy, and I will see you in the next video.